It is mid-October 2025, and a quiet unease has begun spreading through the astrophysics community. Within the past week, multiple research teams tracking the interstellar objects known as 3I Atlas have noticed gaps in NASA's public data feeds. Missing telemetry, incomplete imagery, strange blackouts during routine updates. At first, no one said anything. NASA servers have experienced technical issues before, but when an anonymous message appeared on a private scientific forum containing fragments of encrypted files, purportedly internal 3I Atlas reports, the silence broke. The sender identified himself only as a retired systems engineer. The files contained infrared imaging and internal memos stamped with NASA's data classification codes. One sentence in particular has since been echoed across labs and observatories worldwide. Energy signatures inconsistent with natural cometary processes. That single phrase triggered the investigation now unfolding across several agencies and universities. Mistakenly, there's a twist you won't see coming. What we know so far. 3I Atlas was first spotted months ago by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System survey telescopes in Hawaii. It is the third confirmed interstellar object to pass through our solar system. Combating Easter, its trajectory has brought it close enough for detailed observation. And what scientists have seen does not fit ordinary models. The like body appears to maintain a remarkably stable path, with almost no measurable tumbling or wobble. It emits faint pulses of infrared radiation at precise intervals. Even more puzzling, no visible tail has been detected, despite the object being close enough to the Sun for surface ice to vaporize. These findings were puzzling, but not alarming, until the leak. Now, researchers are questioning whether parts of the data stream have been deliberately withheld. Several European and Japanese observatories confirmed that their transmissions were rerouted this week to private NASA addresses. No one seems to know who authorized it. The whistleblower's account. The man behind the leak has not revealed his name, but several journalists have verified his credentials. He claims to have worked for NASA, decided to copy what remained and send it outside the system. He told investigators, "I don't know what it is, but the data says it isn't random." NASA's public position. As of this morning, NASA officials maintain that 3I Atlas is a natural object exhibiting unexpected thermal variations. A short press release from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory emphasized that data irregularities are under review and that no evidence suggests artificial origin. Privately, however, several researchers describe a mood of cautious tension. One senior analyst at the Goddard Space Flight Center, speaking under condition of anonymity, says internal channels have been unusually quiet. "Normally we share raw feeds openly among teams," she explained. "This time we're waiting on approval for everything." When asked if she believes the leak is genuine, she paused. "The formatting looks real," she said, "and if it is, then we have a bigger story than NASA wants to tell right now." The data itself. Independent specialists who have examined the leaked fragments report that the spectral signatures do appear legitimate. The files show periodic emissions near the hydrogen line, 1420 MHz, a frequency long associated with radio astronomy and deep space communication. While such emissions can occur naturally, the regular spacing of these pulses makes that explanation unlikely. If confirmed, this would mean 3I Atlas is releasing energy in patterns, not bursts. Multiple observatories are now racing to verify the signal independently. Early reports from Chile's Paranal Observatory and Japan's Subaru telescope indicate faint but repeating spikes matching the leaked data. For now, scientists can only compare notes. NASA has not released any new official readings since October 14th. Growing international interest. Insistence. The European Space Agency has quietly extended its observation schedule for 3I Atlas. France's CNES and Germany's DLR have joined a shared monitoring program, citing public concern and scientific responsibility. In India, the Inter-University Centre for Astronomy and Astrophysics announced that it will attempt to record the object's emissions directly
using its upgraded radio array. Despite political divisions elsewhere, the global research
commentators suggesting an active cover-up. Social media predictably has gone into overdrive. Amateur astronomers across the world have begun live streaming their own tracking attempts. Some claim to have detected flickering light curves similar to the leaked infrared pattern, though none are yet verified. Reddit threads and YouTube discussions reference earlier controversies, like Avi Loeb's work on Oumuamua, as precedent. The idea that another interstellar visitor might be technological no longer sounds absurd to the public. At the same time, skeptics warn that hysteria could undermine legitimate research. They urge viewers to remember that natural explanations often seem unbelievable until proven. Still, the phrase, "not human technology," trends across every platform tonight. Inside the investigation. Combating a special subcommittee of the House Science, Space and Technology Committee has reportedly requested a classified briefing from NASA administrators. Officials refuse to confirm whether the briefing is about 3I Atlas, but the timing suggests it is. Meanwhile, several cybersecurity experts are analyzing the leak's origin. Preliminary results show the data was accessed from an internal NASA IP range tied to the Deep Space Network Station in Goldstone, California. That same network node went offline for maintenance on October 10th, coincidentally, the same day the data appears to have been copied. No one has confirmed whether the engineer acted alone or with help. The view from the sky tonight. Across the Western Hemisphere, telescopes continue to track 3I Atlas as it moves silently toward its closest approach to Earth later this month. Amientos. Under clear conditions, the object can be glimpsed with high-power amateur equipment. A dim point near the constellation Pegasus, moving slowly against the starfield. It shows no dramatic flashes, no tail, nothing visibly extraordinary. Yet, the data behind that quiet light is anything but ordinary. Some researchers believe the current activity will intensify as the object approaches perihelion within the next 2 weeks. They predict stronger emissions, maybe even visible luminescence as solar radiation interacts with its surface. Others caution that excitement may cloud judgment. Investigation. One that could either reaffirm the limits of our understanding or redefine them entirely. Silence from the agency. As the public conversation grows louder, NASA's silence has become the loudest sound in the room. It's now the 3rd week of October 2025. Trembling social media feeds are filled with recycled press releases about planetary science and lunar research, but there is no mention of 3I Atlas. At the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, staff sources describe a climate of unease. Some analysts say entire folders have been relabeled as restricted. Others claim their viewing access to the Deep Space Network logs has been suspended. Crimson Astronomer, speaking anonymously to a university podcast, says simply, "When the data vanished, the questions multiplied. The disappearance of information has created a vacuum that speculation rushes to fill." A network of observers. Outside official channels, a loose network of independent observatories has formed a shared channel on encrypted servers. Research ships from Chile, Australia and India are pooling telescope time, trading raw signal data, and verifying one another's work in real time. Early this morning, that group released a preliminary joint statement. Their measurements show faint, repeating bursts at 1420 MHz, the hydrogen line. Each pulse lasts less than a second, but the pattern repeats at regular intervals. Mistakenly, they have not called it a message. They have called it an anomaly requiring continued observation. Silk plans to release a full spectral analysis within 48 hours if NASA does not respond first. The engineer speaks again. Camouflage.
The retired engineer who started the controversy has resurfaced. In a newly recorded audio clip shared with journalists late last night, he insists he is not trying to accuse NASA of deception, only of hesitation. "I've worked there long enough to know that bureaucracies freeze when they're afraid of what they've found," he says. His voice trembles slightly, but the conviction is steady. He describes seeing internal notes referencing structured periodic emissions and automatic rerouting to secured archives. Of him, the files were not deleted. They were moved to a classified repository labeled ASDF. Advanced Spaceborne.
The leak is authentic, and so far nothing disproves it. The information itself may be the least mysterious part of the story. The real question is why the agency would classify a natural comet's readings at all. A divided scientific community. The world's scientists are now split. Missionary accused that 3I Atlas behaves unlike any natural object yet seen. Its stable rotation, non-volatile surface, and radio emissions all defy comet physics. Crimson insists that extraordinary data demands extraordinary caution. They warn against mistaking an incomplete picture for evidence of intent. Crimson, Dr. Avi Loeb, whose earlier paper on Oumuamua drew ridicule, has again entered the debate. He tells reporters, "If the data is correct, this object behaves like a probe using energy modulation rather than propulsion." The comment ignites immediate controversy, but also draws attention to how much we still don't know. Mitigate Chile, a team at Caltech, has begun an independent attempt to reconstruct the trajectory using public orbital data. Their early calculations suggest minute deviations, small enough to escape notice, yet statistically real. If those deviations continue, 3I Atlas may be adjusting its course. The search for confirmation. Tonight, astronomers in Europe prepare for coordinated observation runs as the object approaches perihelion in the coming days. Each station will monitor a different wavelength range. The hope is that simultaneous readings will confirm whether the strange emissions are real or artifacts of interference. Immigration. If they detect the same pulse pattern across multiple instruments, the evidence becomes undeniable. Shimmer making, media outlets have already booked airtime for live coverage. Simplest to still since the story began, NASA has announced a scheduled press briefing, set for October 21st, 2025. The topic is listed only as Interstellar Object Monitoring Update. The countdown to that briefing has become a global event. Human reactions. Mismatch. Public fascination has turned into collective suspense. Viewers who once followed space news casually now watch live trackers of the comet's position. Schools hold explanations. One Contrae research. Reinforce confidence in data integrity. Avoid speculative language. But outside, speculation is impossible to avoid. Physicists now openly debate whether an artificial probe could mimic cometary composition as camouflage. Astrobiologists remind everyone that microbial life is still unconfirmed beyond Earth, and that jumping to advanced civilizations is premature. Still, the raw numbers do not lie. The frequency pattern repeats. The energy output is consistent. And as the object draws closer to the Sun, the signals are getting stronger. What could happen next? If the emissions intensify, ground-based arrays like Arecibo's successor in Puerto Rico and India's upgraded GMRT will capture clearer data. That could happen within the next 5 days, depending on solar interference. If no change appears, NASA's narrative may hold. Natural radiation, cosmic coincidence. Miss the pattern sharpens. Every institution monitoring deep space will have to confront the same question. What exactly is moving through our solar system right now? Several researchers have hinted that they are preparing emergency proposals for targeted observations, including attempts to beam radio replies back at the source. Whether NASA approves such contact attempts is uncertain. The engineer's disappearance. Afflicted, late yesterday, journalists attempting to reach the whistleblower reported that his encrypted email accounts are inactive. Friends say he left his home 2 days ago after receiving a visit from federal officials. Law enforcement agencies have neither confirmed nor denied that interaction. Mientras the sudden silence has only amplified his message. Some online users treat him as a hero, others as a hoax. Either way, his disappearance has become part of the story, a symbol of the tension between secrecy and revelation. Waiting for the briefing. All eyes now turn to the upcoming NASA announcement. Reporters camp outside agency headquarters, hoping for a hint of what will be said. Insiders whisper that the statement will be measured but surprising. No one knows whether that means denial or disclosure. Meanwhile, telescopes continue.
Atlas has already changed how humanity looks outward. For the first time, billions of people are asking the same thing at the same time. Are we really alone? If you're following this investigation, stay critical and stay curious. Don't rush to conclusions, but don't look away either. Truth in science rarely arrives with certainty. It arrives through persistence. Watch the upcoming NASA briefing. Paranoia's details from independent observatories. And when you look up tonight, remember, that tiny moving light may hold answers older than our species itself. This is still unfolding. Storm tuned, stay questioning, and keep your eyes on the stars.